Today, my guest is Kevin Bull with InvesTechs.com. They help real estate syndicators and deal sponsors raise capital using the internet marketing and automation. And I think you're really going to enjoy this. But first, a quick reminder, if you like the show, please let us know. You can do this. You can like, you can leave comments, you can share the show, and you can subscribe. And also want to let you know that if you'd like to watch the show and see the guest, you can also go to our YouTube channel. It's Commercial Real Estate Pro Network. With that, I'd like to welcome our guest, Kevin. Kevin, welcome to CREPN Radio.
Thank you.
All right. What's that?
I appreciate you having me.
Oh no, I'm glad to have you, and looking forward to our talk today. Before we jump into this conversation, if you could share with the listeners a little bit about your background, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. So my quick story is out of University of Oregon. I started a collaborative workspace down in downtown Eugene. And what that is a co-working space. Some people are familiar with WeWork. So we took a full floor of office building and created a culture and an environment for individual freelancers and startups to work out of. From there, we started working with companies doing Kickstarters and helping them do crowdfunding campaigns. In 2012, more like 2013, legislation passed called the Jobs Act, Jumpstart Our Business Startups, that allows individuals, investors to invest into companies online, equity and debt investments. And that's when a lot of companies like Lending Home and Realty Shares, a few big names came out on helping companies invest and raise investment online. So we first focused on a unique market called the EB5 investment market, where it's immigrant investors investing $500,000 into U.S. companies that create 10 jobs over 2 years. Over 80% of those investors are Chinese, and over 90% of those investments are into U.S. commercial real estate projects, the developments themselves, and the jobs are counted through the construction. And also, the economists use a formula to figure out how the job impact is in that economic area. We explored that area for a while, started to build out a platform, and did some deals offline. But our partners of four kind of went separate ways. Two of them continued to raise capital offline from these Chinese investors. My partner and I, Esteban, went to develop out the technology platform and continue to work to automate the investment sales process. We joined Etro Capital in Portland, Oregon, helped them raise money for small multifamily and large residential deals for about 9 months to a year. And then through that process, we realized, we could offer this service to other commercial developers and started InvesTechs. So InvesTechs is a digital marketing agency that helps real estate developers and growth stage companies raise capital online by automating the investment sales process. And then I guess the last part is recently we formed a relationship with a broker-dealer, Concerted Capital, and so have been working in partnership with them on deals moving forward.
Got it. Well, that's quite a little path there, and kind of how the opportunity knocks. I mean, from the meeting place there, I forget what you called the workspace there, to the Chinese investors, to working with raising capital for multiple investors. That's awesome. I love it. Let me ask you this. Let's get into this a little bit. So your InvesTechs is a platform, or you guys are a digital agency that create a platform for investors to raise capital, correct?
Right. So we create a platform for each of our clients.
Okay. So let me ask you. So for most syndicators, they're looking for, well, they need to raise capital and they need deals. There's always a challenge to find both at the same time. Where does InvesTech fit in the? I mean, is it strictly the capital, or do you guys work with your clients at all for finding the deals?
So we work on the capital side. And
Okay.
so I like to break up our automation system into four pieces. The first part is we design out the website and an investment page. The investment page is hosts all the information that an investor would need to see to be able to invest. So those are presentations, videos, webinars, business plans, legal documents, and also an Invest Now button that allows the investor to place that investment online. So it verifies their accreditation, has them review the legal documents, do a digital signature, put their investment into escrow, and then receive the transfer agent and the certificate of investment. Second part is we have a creative team create that content, like the pitch decks, videos, etc. Third part is we identify the most likely investors into that investment project. And so we can, a mix of between professional investors and individual high net worth and credit investors. So we have different data sources that we use, some that we purchase, that we own, and some big data web scraping tools that we can utilize. If you have a project, let's say here in Portland, Oregon, we can buy a list of the most accredited investors that have invested into real estate within a radius of your project. And then the fourth part is to be able to promote to those investors and reach them. And so we have an automated email campaign that we'll do. We can send up to 500 emails a day to that list, a sequence of emails to get their attention. And then after you engage with them, we have a follow-up system. We also couple that with ads. So once we can upload that prospect list to an ad campaign, and it's called programmatic advertising, where we'll follow those people around the internet and can target them specifically on financial services websites, on real estate type websites. And the third part is some LinkedIn automation that we do. So nothing that's too invasive, but we can automate some things like viewing profiles and sending friend requests, and also the initial message reach out. And we'll do those to set up one-to-one meetings. And so after they reply, we have some automation AI process to help schedule the calls and webinars with them. And, if you're doing a local project, you want to meet local investors, we also like to do events, have a monthly event or biweekly event where you rent out a investor roundtable, the back of a restaurant or a nice brewery, you get a corner and you're able to meet with those people face to face, go through a conversational type presentation, do some educational type marketing, and, build those relationships. It can be difficult to raise for an individual project because of the time constraint. It's not impossible, but sometimes, you still have to build that relationship with that investor. You have to build that trust and make sure that they, trust you with their money to be able to put it in that investment, and then that you can, syndicate that deal and bring that development to profitability and, generate a return.
Well, I love it. I mean, you took it there from stem to stern, everything in all the steps in the middle, except getting the cash. And I guess that's that comes after the meeting and everybody gets comfortable, right? But I mean, you've worked the prospect funnel there completely. I was going to ask you, you mentioned about the list and how you guys go about acquiring the list, whether you do a local list or something like that. Do you guys pull investors from other lists that you guys have used, or is the list that you're using for the deal for the client, is that unique to that client, or can you speak to that?
Yeah, so it's a combination. We have a list of professional type investors that we can pull from, and we can specify, what type of asset class they've invested into, what geographic region they invest into, and these are more funds and equity managers. And then with the high net worth individuals, that's usually specific to each client. We'll target local investors around that project. And because we believe that a lot of people like to invest locally, they understand the market, they want to be part of their community, and we've seen that play out well.
Got it. Let me ask you, so you've worked with a number of syndicators. is there one common challenge you find that syndicators have to overcome in adopting or working with InvesTechs?
Yeah, I think the most common challenge is being able to balance everything that they do with syndication. If they don't have a large enough team, then it's the same person that's finding the deals and also maintaining these relationships with the investors. And as your investor pool grows, uh, it becomes more difficult to show them the attention that they need. And so you have your previous investors that you want to roll over into new projects. You got your new investors that you just met, and then you have people that you met 3 months ago. And being able to maintain those relationships with all of those people can be very difficult for one person. And if investors aren't seeing that, if they're not given the attention that they deserve, they will start to look elsewhere. They're looking for a partner in this, and you needed to keep those relationships strong.
Got it. Well, that sounds like you said as the program gets underway, if I understood right, and you build the interest, it's maintaining that relationship. Is that right?
Yeah, we do what we can to maintain the relationship. That's through emails and through bringing the event. And we do have a CRM that our clients work within that will give them a reminder. If they haven't called somebody in 3 days or emailed them in 3 days or 14, 21, etc., we'll set up these reminders for them. But at the same time, it can become difficult for anybody just to manage a pipeline like that.
Gotcha. Um, is there anything that you found that syndicators could do to prepare before they come to you that would make this a more successful event? I mean, because it sounds like, if I understood right, I mean, you guys get into creating the content,
hmm
the list. I mean, is there something that the syndicator could do that would, when they come to you, that would help be more successful?
It's kind of a difficult question. We do what we can to be turnkey, especially with our new relationship with Concerted Capital. We can offer legal and consulting and can connect them with broker dealers if needed and form syndication. The main thing to prepare is just to have deals in hand, have a pipeline of deals and, be ready with your time to be able to commit to investors. So to mostly just be available and to be on point and punctual with being there, and for both us with what we'll need to create that content and also with those investors that we generate.
Got it. When you're taking people through the process, is it relatively the same for all syndicators? I mean, is it pretty much once you get them, I mean, you understand what their deal is and you've got their platform set up, is it run fairly similar?
Yeah, we do everything we can to systemize it. And so, with each client, we can continue to improve it. We do have kind of a format that we use, and, we work within that format. And so, kind of that 4-step process that I detailed out. And so if we have the basic information about our client and also the deal that they're working on, we can work with that to just plug it in the system. Takes us 2 weeks to a month to get that system set up, especially if they don't have an existing website and don't have any existing marketing materials, and we're going to have to help with that. Then setting up that system and the creative process that goes into creating the content can take about a month before we hit the launch button and start promoting to those investors and recruiting them to the investment. And so that's something to be sensitive of getting a quick start is, for that first deal that we work with somebody especially, is setting up that system. After the first deal, the system's set up, we have the investors identified, and so it's just plugging and playing new deals in and continuing to build and contact that investor prospect list. And so you start to snowball your investors and build a network around your investment opportunity. And that's one of the main values that we bring in compared to the platform model. There are platforms out there that are being the connector, the marketplace for deals and investors, and syndicators will list their deal up on that platform. They'll pay a listing fee, and then that platform will reach out to their network of investors to invest. The key to that is that it's the platform's network of investors. It's not yours. And so what
Right.
we do is we create that platform for our client for them to build their business, not just fund an individual project.
Got it. So in the if I understand right, I mean, any kind of a funnel, you've got your people and generate interest, and they come through based on their interest. Then I guess those that show interest in a deal or whatever have raised their hand and elevated that. Those are the ones you kind of focus on. The Is there any kind of I'm just kind of curious if you guys have found any kind of a number of touches that you a lot of times in marketing you talk about touches from a suspect to a prospect. Is there anything that you guys have found?
Yeah, I'd say an average of 5 to 7 touches will bring them through. You have the initial email, they'll reply, go to the website, check out the information, submit a form or reply to the email. Then they'll go through the scheduling process, set up a call. You have your initial call. Then you'll follow up after the call with an email, give them a week to digest the information or so, set up another call. So there's a group of touches there. It takes at least a month, maybe two, after meeting that investor to get the investment. And so, making sure that you continue to stay in touch with them and follow up and engage with them and continue to educate them on the process and make them feel comfortable is very important.
Is there a kind of a mean or some sort of an average you're seeing as far as deal size that your clients are doing, or is there an investor an average that you're seeing investors commit?
Yeah, so we like to work with a minimum $20,000 investment for the projects. And then with real estate, deals that are raising equity anywhere from 3 to 20. And with partners
On the raise?
on the raise.
Okay.
So for equity investment. We're also working with concerted capital now. And so we can bring in, for any larger deals in that 10 to 20 range, we can bring in syndications of broker dealers. At that level, they start to become interested, and so we can help assist that syndicator by having a broker that would be focused on just raising the capital and dedicated to that. But they're only interested in larger deals.
Got it. And you guys, you're not actually receiving the funds. You guys plug in with others to facilitate that, correct?
Right. And so that was the financial technology that I mentioned, the Invest Now button.
Okay.
And so a third party that provides that service. And we have a few different ones that we work with depending on the client and the size of the deal. Fund America is one of them, and another is Wealth Forge.
Got it. Is there any limitations on asset class that this works, or I mean, it doesn't seem like there would be.
No, there's no limitations. Multifamily is most popular and easiest to raise for, mostly because the investors are familiar with the type of deals, and it's easy for a high net worth investor that is not too familiar with real estate to calculate the numbers, because they're probably paying on a mortgage themselves and can understand, just having an apartment complex.
Right. What's the cost if somebody was looking to do this? What would they expect to pay to work with you guys?
It's minimum $20K for a deal, and consecutive deals the cost can be lower, but then initial setup process and recruiting the investors.
So you set the platform up. You basically bring people through the funnel. It seems like it would be I'm curious on success rate. Do you guys have? I'm trying to think. Is there anybody? I mean, it seems to me like this is what people are looking for. Both the deal syndicators as well as the investors trying to find a marketplace where they can find deals. And if you're presenting them opportunities that they, especially if they're in their backyard, I would think that that's pretty much a win-win-win. Is that what you're finding?
Yeah, it's hard to put a percentage number on it because each deal is different and each client is different. But we're seeing good feedback, and we can get them appointments with investors, and then it's on the client to close.
Sure. Well, I think that would also any deal syndicator that if they are successful in attracting the capital, that would also make them an attractive to brokers that are finding opportunities to present them additional opportunities. So it sounds like it's you like we said in the beginning, the challenge is usually the deals and the capital at the same time. And if you've got the deal flow and the money flow, that's problem solved, right?
Right, right. Yeah, a lot of problems that syndicators have is, they have their deal flow from, the brokers and the off-market opportunities that they can find, and they'll set up a good system for that. And then with the investors, they usually have a handful of investors, 4 or 5 people that they can have invest that are, friends and family, or an individual that they've built a relationship with that has a lot of capital to keep investing. But once they max out to that 5 or 6 people, it's hard to build their network above that. And so that's where we come in to help them build more relationships and meet more people and build their network.
Got it. Do you find that it's, or I'm just trying to think through this, if somebody's never syndicated a deal, is this going to be a successful platform for them, or would you suggest that somebody have some experience in raising capital for deals?
Yeah, definitely some experience. We wouldn't work with the first timer just because they need to have some basis for what they're doing. If they have relevant experience in the industry and have a good understanding of it and have connections that they can leverage and can partner with people with experience, then it is a possibility. But that's so important when an investor is looking at a deal, and they're looking to partner with a syndicator. Is their experience, and can this person execute on this deal?
Got it. Well, Kevin, this is interesting. I'm sure that anybody listening that's raising money, is looking to raise money and do more deals, will find it value. Where can the listeners go to find out more and connect with you?
Great. Yeah. So our website is InvesTechs.com. That's InvesTechs.com. And my email is kevin@investtechs.com.
Got it. Well, Kevin, thanks again for taking the time to talk. I've learned a lot, and hope we can do it again soon.
Great. Hey, thanks a lot for having me. It was fun. I appreciate it.
All right. And for our listeners, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, the more you know, the more you grow. That's all we've got this week. Until next time, thanks for listening to Commercial Real Estate Pro Network's CREPN Radio.